Welcome back to AdeptiCon Talks. I am sitting here with Shaun from Wyrd, who is going to fill us in on all the weird and wonderful things that we can expect to see at this year's AdeptiCon. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
So Malifaux seems like it has just gotten bigger and bigger as the AdeptiCon shows have been going on. And what can we expect to see this year at the convention?
Well, there's been a lot of demand for Henchman Hardcore formats and the Enforcer Brawl formats. So we've got 2 sessions of each being added to what we typically call the cake match, which is Thursday. And the cake match has kind of evolved from being an actual event to just hosting other events and throwing cake into the mix.
Where did that get started anyway?
Dan Sulin, known as Nihilus on the forums, was the one who was running Adepticon when we first started here at Adepticon. Wyrd for Adepticon, I should say. And his mother's a baker.
Okay.
And so he wanted to have cake involved, and
Why
he
not?
wanted to have some way of opening Adepticon with a party, you know, make it a social event, meet your players, because, you know, we get people from all over the world. So, you know, it kind of shrinks the cliques a bit. You know, so.
It feels really fun when you walk into the room when the cake match is going on. It doesn't feel like as tense of the tournament scene like sometimes you can see with various games. You can tell that it just adds a nice, like you said, party element to it. Yeah,
and I mean, Malifaux is kind of a laid-back play group anyway. I enjoy a lot of different miniature games, but I keep coming back to Malifaux as my fun convention experience. If I want to be hardcore competitive, I'll do other games, but I do like Malifaux for that. Just have a good time, tell a story, that kind of thing. It
has such a creative aspect to it that I think, like you said, I think it may very well appeal to a different kind of gamer. Necessarily, because it does leave so much open to your imagination and a creative process there. So, what other events will Malifaux have at Adepticon?
Well, there will be a version of the cake match. We've switched it up this year, where the cake match is kind of its separate thing. Everybody brings cake still, but we judge that separately. We don't really have a formal cake match event, but there will still be cake, obviously. And we encourage everybody to bring their best and their biggest, because last year was pretty hard to top. We always have the Gaslight Achievement League, which is, again, to kind of encourage the fun play. It takes place throughout the entire weekend. It's not a separate event in and of itself, but it plays off the other events that you're playing in already. So there's just fun objectives like try not to cheat out of your hand for one turn, or
but that's the whole point in playing Malifaux. I don't know that I could do it.
It's to turn things on the ear. You know, have a straight in your hand and show it to your opponent, you know, that kind of thing.
That's
fun. Play the red and the black joker in the same turn, that kind of a thing. So some of them are easy, some of them are a little more challenging. So that's the Gaslight Achievement League, and like I said, Thursday we have the 2 Enforcer Brawls and the 2 Henchman Hardcore games going on. We have the team tournament on Friday, and that's always well attended. In fact, I think it was our biggest tournament last year, player-wise. And then we have the Masters on Saturday, which is going to be all day. It's going to be a very long day. It's going to be for hardcore players, you know, that kind of thing.
How many people typically participate in the Masters?
It's been 60 consistently.
Wow.
Last year we were really planning on having more, but I had a scheduling snafu that I didn't notice until after people had already bought tickets. So we lost a couple of people last minute because of that. So yeah, this year it is an all-day event. So if it says anything else, don't believe it. Don't go registering for other.
You heard it. You heard it here.
All day, nine till at least 9. It's at least a 12-hour tournament, 5 rounds, and it draws the best players in the world. You know, so it's definitely some hardcore competition for you. Get you outside of your local meta. See what happens in other places.
Sure.
And then Sunday is our story encounter, which is, you know, our kind of relaxed atmosphere, close out the tourney on a good note, the convention on a good note kind of thing.
Great. If you were a person that's kind of just started getting into Malifaux and participating in tournaments, What would you say would be like a good entrance tournament if you wanted to come participate in something like that?
Well, the team tournament's kind of a fun way to get into it. You'll have to find a partner, and you'll both have to be in the same faction for our version of the team tournament. It's a pretty fun way to do it. The Enforcer Brawls and the Henchman Hardcores are definitely fun, easy ways to get in. They're a lesser count of models, so you won't see some guy bringing the whole faction and go, oh, well.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. So it's a little easier to prepare for and not as intensive with the model counts.
Good. What is the most popular faction? Have you seen a surge of one in particular? I know Gremlins have been like starting to go like kind of crazy.
Yeah, poor Gremlins. they got ignored for so long, and now that they finally have models, yeah, people are starting to back the Gremlins more. Consistently, the ones that we see take top tier at AdeptiCon are Outcasts and Rezzers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Rezzers have a lot of summoning, and they have some really powerful summons.
Okay.
So they may start out with a fewer models on the table, that kind of thing, but they grow really rapidly. Outcasts, they have some really hard to deal with masters. They kind of go outside the box, that kind of thing. Oh, and Guild did very well last year as well, and I guess one of our champions took the Nova competition with Guild.
Wow. So. See, that's the nice thing about it, is that it doesn't sound like there's really any faction that like doesn't stand much of a chance. It really is in how you play it and what you bring, and of course some degree of your fate, as it were, and how that plays, out in the game. But
yeah, I find Malifaux to be a very well-balanced game. It's balanced across the factions. A lot of people have trouble figuring out which masters they want to play, and I keep telling them, if you're trying to be competitive with a master, that's kind of hard to do unless you really know that master, because it's balanced across the faction, and the strategies and the schemes play a part in your crew selection. So the more models you have access to, the easier time you'll have with doing better. But if you really know your master, then we have some. Like I said, the one that took Nova was Sonia Creed. She was one of the first masters that Wyrd came out with. So the oldies and goodies are still definitely valid.
It doesn't have to be the newest.
There's not a lot of power creep. So yeah.
That's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. If people want to get involved with the game or participate in tournaments, how do they go about doing that for AdeptiCon?
Well, obviously, all of our events are going to be ticketed. They're all up there. As far as demos and open play, we will have at least 10 tables open for that. So if people want to come in and try not only Malifaux out, but Kings of Artifice, Jetpack Unicorn, Evil Baby Orphanage, any of the other games that
lots of stuff. Good.
Darkness Comes Rattling. We'll be doing that. That's a new board game from Wyrd. So we'll
nice.
have all of that available for demos and people available to teach it. So.
That's the greatest thing about AdeptiCon, because if you haven't had a chance to try the games, there's no excuse not to while you're here. Yeah. And then you'll know before making a blind buy for something that you're not 100% sure on. You'll find out, oh yes, I absolutely love this, or maybe that one's not quite for me, but one of the other ones is. So that's really good. So where could people find more information on Wyrd or Malifaux?
Well, Wyrd is wyrdgames.com, and Malifaux. It's well covered there. If you're on Facebook, there's a weirdplace.com, Wyrd Place at Facebook group, and the people there are very generous with information and helping people get started, that kind of thing. Malifaux does have forums on the Wyrd page, and they can always contact me, AdeptiCon Shaun at gmail.com, spelled SEAN. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're really looking forward to it. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to watch. Will Wyrd be here with product this year?
We're still working on how Wyrd does have product here every year. It's just a matter of whether they will be here or whether they'll be supplying through Cool Mini or not, or one of the local suppliers. We will have representatives from Wyrd here. They're still working out who it will be. Last year we had Aaron Darland and Mason Crawford come and interact with the people and hang out and chat. So we'll have that kind of thing going again. Fantastic. I'm hoping we'll get a lot of the Wyrd people coming. That would be
nice. This tournament is, AdeptiCon is just really kind of taken off. So it's a lot more, more and more people seem like they are coming out for it. So it's a really great place for networking and learning about different things, making good connections. And like you said, there's nobody better that you're going to find out information from than the sources. So when they come to the show, you should absolutely take advantage of talking to somebody, if people have a chance to.
Yeah, and they're very approachable too. I've never had any of the guys shut me out in a conversation.
Great.
And last year I watched specifically Mason and Aaron interacting with the guys, and just very approachable, easygoing guys. Don't be afraid to walk up and say, hey, I hate the game or whatever.
Yeah. Or you love it, or you want to try it, or, sometimes it's just hearing one person's angle about why they love the game, that you maybe didn't think about before. I go back to the Gremlins, the henchman that we deal with that comes out to our favorite local game store. Gremlins were really not my thing previously in terms, I don't know, they just didn't quite appeal to me. But I also found out through my talking to him that I didn't really understand them. And so after you listen to somebody who truly loves something, talking about their spin on it, it was like, I get it. Like the light bulb went on. It was Justin Dexter. Yeah. Gotcha. So it was a real eye opener. It was like, now I get it. Now I understand why people, really want to do that. So it's a lot of fun, and it's something you absolutely should check out if you're at all interested. So thanks so much for talking to us.
Absolutely.
Make sure you follow along with us in the AdeptiCon Talk series. These are going to be available for you to watch on AdeptiCon's page as it goes, on beastsofwar.com. And then when time comes for the show, Beasts of War will be live blogging. So you'll get to see all different things about the events. We'll talk to lots of different people. So if you physically can't be here yourself, you can be here with us online and follow along.
Through Beasts of War.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you guys much for doing that for us.
Oh, our pleasure. Our pleasure.